To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Welcome to the Talk About the Magic podcast, where you'll find inspiration and encouragement tied together with the magic of Disney. Now, here's your host, Joseph Ballesteros.
What is going on, Magic Cheers? I hope you've had a wonderful first week, New Year. Welcome to Talk About the Magic. If it's your first time here, this podcast is not just about Disney, but also Sunday's episode, at least, is about inspiration, encouraging you to get up and move toward whatever it is you are trying to reach, whatever goal, whatever dream you've set in front of you, whatever you're passionate about, to get up and at least start getting toward it, start working toward that goal and dream, because you only got one life. So yeah, let's do this. But I hope you've had a very fun and good beginning week of the new year. I hope you've gotten some things, rolling as far as toward your goal, because I know it's easy to stick in that vacation mode, and I'm guilty of that myself sometimes. Of where we get a vacation, kids will be off kind of for a couple of days, and it's easy to kind of just be like, I think I'll just take a nap. But a couple of things before we get started in today's show. I put out a ton of polls and asking questions, and I want to ask you guys here who are listening, because I know not everybody follows me on Instagram and Twitter and everything. So I want to know if there's something more you're wanting with the Talk About the Magic podcast. We do every Sunday, we do this show, and it's been around, it's stuck there, and I love doing it. And it, like I said, it focuses on encouragement and inspiring you, and inspiration to get up and go and move toward your goal or dream. But do you want anything more during the week? Last year I did a lot of tests when it came to the podcast. I had a little video podcast. I was doing daily podcasts. I did Disney news. I did Disney tips. I did, like 5 things you didn't know about, Haunted Mansion and stuff like that on YouTube. So I just want to know, what are you wanting? What are you wanting from the podcast? Do you have enough Disney? Do you just like to listen to this, podcast just for Sundays? Or, do you want more? Do you want to, have an episode that goes over Disney news, or maybe gives you some Disney tips if it's your first time going to, Disney World or a cruise or something? Or are you wanting to just have a Disney topic, the new Toy Story Land coming, let's talk about it. What are the things that we look forward to? What are the things we're not looking forward to? Just different things. I want to know your opinion, your idea of what you want to hear, if anything at all. So feel free, please shoot me an email. Let me know. You can send an email over to talkaboutthemagicpodcast@gmail.com. It'll be in the show notes as well. Or you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and send me a message there and let me know what it is you're wanting to hear, or not hear. All right. So today's episode is called Being Cautious Doesn't Mean Being Scared. When we get ready to start achieving our goals and our dreams and our passion, whatever it is, we are going to get the doubts. We are going to get that timid feeling. We're going to get the, should I? I don't know if I should do this. And while a lot of that, could be just pure, fear and doubt and kick it out, it's not worth it. Some of that could also be kind of your spidey sense tingling, letting you know to be concerned and be aware and be cautious of whatever you're getting towards. So, if you're somebody, who wants to start going to the gym, now again, speaking out of experience, that's why I reference this so much. When I hadn't gone to the gym for months, I knew that when I got on the treadmill and I started doing a little too much than I should have been doing for barely being back, the warning signs my body was giving me, I needed to pay attention, because my body was really like telling me, bro, you are going way, way more than I can handle. And so I had to be cautious about getting, going back in it the right way. Because the other thing too is I exerted myself. I did too much to where I was out for almost like a week, because I basically had pulled so many muscles on my legs and everything because I didn't do anything right. And so, those are the things that you got to be paying attention to. If you are, starting a business or something like that, you have to be aware of the downfalls, the things that could happen, the negative, things that could be, and not so that they can scare you, but that you can hopefully be prepared for them. That for any business, it's wise to have capital, because if you just go in with no kind of money or no kind of investment prior, when, it's tough in the first year, it's sometimes even longer, when there's nothing coming into the business, you need money to survive. If you don't have any capital, it's going to be very difficult for you to continue on, because you need to pay your bills. And so, those are the kind of the things when it comes to starting to work toward your goal and stuff, as far as being cautious, understanding that there are things that you have to be aware of, but that you want to prepare for, and you want to try to come up with ways to face them, not be afraid in the sense of you're not going to pursue it. So, especially with the new year and everything like that, we get very excited and we start, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this. And we just start going into a list of 100 different things we want to do. And even to that, I would tell you and warn you, be cautious about what you're setting yourself up for. Because, kind of like what we talked about a couple episodes back, we get so pumped up, we get so excited for something, and then when we realize the amount of work that we have to put into it, when we realize the amount of time and effort and sacrifice that's going to go into that, a lot of times we just end up saying to ourselves, that's not worth it. And unfortunately, we might have already wasted 3 months, 4 months, maybe even a year of doing this thing that we thought we were so pumped up for. We thought this is what we wanted, but we realized it wasn't once we took in the realization that this is going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of sacrifice, a lot of effort. It's just not worth it. And you have to understand that when you're starting to make these goals, and you're starting to make these ideas, and you're wanting to pursue something, you have to be cautious of the work and the time that's going to be coming from it, and the things that you have to do on your own end to sacrifice. Whether it's your time, whether it's money, whether it's, your knowledge, in the sense that you have to kind of go and relearn something that maybe you thought you knew so well, you're going to have to understand that it's going to be a lot of things that might have to come into play. So if you just start putting 100 things down and saying, I want to accomplish all this 2018, a lot of times what you'll find is, more often than not, you end up not completing anything. And unfortunately, some of those things were really something that you were really passionate about and you probably could have achieved. But because other things got in the way that you thought you wanted to do, you didn't get there. And so it's important to be cautious about actually what you are trying to do. What are you planning to do? And so once you figure out what it is, your next thing being cautious, like I said, be aware of what's happening. Be aware of the people who are going to come, in the way, the out of your control things that are going to happen potentially when you're trying to achieve this, and be aware that this might take longer than what you're hoping for it to be. But again, it's worth it, right? If this is something you're passionate about, something you really have a drive for, it's going to be worth it to you when you go through this. Not at the time. I don't think that you're ever going to feel like, oh, okay, well, this sidelined me for, a good 2.5 months. Oh, fantastic. No, I'm not saying you're going to feel good when these things kind of happen, but you know that it's going to be worth it, so you keep pushing through. Be cautious whenever you start going toward your goal and you find out these get there quicker things that are out there, just depending what you're doing. So if you're trying to lose weight, if you go to Google and you say, how can I lose 20 pounds in 6 months, you are going to get a ton of websites guaranteeing you to lose 20 pounds in 6 months, 3 months, even 1 month. And you have to be cautious, because what they are doing is they're promising something and they truly can't 100% guarantee delivery. That's why if you read in the small letters of every single thing, every infomercial that's on TV, every single thing that you'll read on the internet or anything like that where they're promoting weight loss, they're always going to have on the little small things, even though they're telling you, look, for all 40 people of these, who took our supplement or who did our training lost 80 pounds, you're going to see on the bottom in small letters that your results may vary. Your results are not guaranteed. That's just the way it is. And because of that, you have to be cautious that you don't get excited and you end up spending, $500-$600 on different things that you think are going to get you there quicker and faster than what you wanted to do, or with less, work than what you wanted to do. And you end up wasting more time. You end up wasting more money, and you get frustrated because it doesn't even, get you to where you wanted. And now you feel like you just wasted your time and money. And that can be a stopping point for a lot of people when it comes to following your dreams. So it's important to be cautious for those get there quicker, get there with less work. We can't guarantee, nobody can guarantee how long it's going to take you. Nobody can guarantee, how fast it'll happen. When I used to play music, I remember, the big thing was touring, right? You got to tour. If you want to make it anywhere, man, you got to tour. And I don't know why I said it that way, but that's just the way I guess I hear it in my head. And I didn't want to do that. I got a girlfriend. I don't want to be far away. I have my friends. We're having fun. So I just would play around here. And, you know, a couple of my other friends who were in different bands, they went out. They toured. And I got frustrated after a while. I got frustrated because while I enjoyed making music and writing music, and while I have a passion for doing music, I didn't have a passion for doing the work of being a musician in that way, you know, of being an artist. And I was like, why am I not signed? You know, like I need to be signed. And I would send demos out and get angry because, you know, nobody was, you know, responding. And I mean, I had a MySpace profile. That's like a guarantee, isn't it? Like you have a MySpace profile and you're in a band, shouldn't you be signed? So I remember that I would do it. And so what I started doing was I started buying all of these, you know, how to get signed, and, you know, these things are going to get you signed, and marketing the right way where you don't need to be signed and make tons of money from just, you know, playing and putting your albums up for sale on CD Baby or something like that. So I started spending so much money and time on these things that I thought were going to be, this is a guarantee. If you're familiar with music, you might have heard of Taxi Music, stuff like that, where it's like, send us a demo and we'll send it to an AR person and you might get signed. And so I was all for that. And, you know, that didn't happen. I didn't get any kind of response. I wasted my time. I wasted my money because in the end, they could never guarantee me anything. And some friends of mine who were in two different bands, both of them ended up getting signed. One of them ended up going. They would tour around Texas and Dallas and Houston. One of them went to a kind of a battle of a bands show there in Houston, and they won and they got signed, and they had a EP run where it's basically 4 songs, and it was professionally done in the studio, and, you know, it was a work in progress kind of deal on that end with the companies like, we're gonna mold you, make you better. And the other guys that we played with. They were actually, you know, they were our age and everything, so we really knew them well, actually. They got signed as well. And it just so happens that they were out touring. I think they were in New York or something. I don't know. So they were somewhere like it. No, they were in Nashville. And one of the, here's the funny part. They're like, they're a Christian band, but they were playing their Christian music in a club. And it just so happens that there was a restaurant right next door to this club. And in there was the representative for a really big Christian label eating dinner. And he heard them playing, and it obviously prickled, you know, his ear more because of the fact that he knew the club next to there was just, you know, about music and stuff. But he heard that these guys were singing Christian music, and they said, "Oh, well, hold on, this is interesting." So, you know what I mean? It's those things where they put so much work and time and effort, and eventually you can call it luck. I don't call it any of those things, but you can call it luck, coincidence, whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is, if they had not put in that time and work and effort for what they wanted, they would have never been at that venue playing when that representative from the label was sitting right next door, who ended up going to them and said, "You guys, let's talk." And they got signed. They ended up playing for the Super Bowl, not for the Super Bowl, but their music, I should say, was used in the Super Bowl ad. They had a concert that was part of, like, I think it was AT&T or DirecTV during that time as well. So it's incredible. And here I am, while they're doing the work, they're putting in the effort, they're putting in the time, the sacrifice, and the frustrations that they had to go to. Here I am in my room with all of these little, you know, PDF files and stuff of this is gonna get you signed. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not saying that those things don't necessarily always work, but what I am saying is the way I was trying to use it, the way I wanted it, it wasn't going to work, which was a guaranteed quick fix. I wasn't being cautious to the fact that these things, as much as they sound good, as much as they promise to deliver, they truly cannot. And even what's funny is, if I had put as much time and effort in actually going out and playing places than sitting and reading and thinking like, oh, this is easy. This is gonna make me sell millions now. I got it. Who knows? You know, where it could have been, where it could have landed differently, the way things could have changed. And so you have to be cautious of those quick, guarantee easy, you know, one and done. If you do this, you will be set. You have to be careful with those things because a majority of them, well, actually all of them, I can guarantee you, cannot truly guarantee the income or the result, I should say, and the outcome that you're looking for and the time that you're looking for. They can't. They cannot guarantee. Now, is it possible? Sure. And I definitely, like I said, if you're somebody who really can't get to the gym or stuff, P90X and all that, those are all great. I have them. I've used them. But I didn't get the results I wanted, the way I wanted them, and the time that I wanted them. Now, if I kept doing it for a year, and if I, ate exactly the way they said, which is like a dry toast and then one egg white and a water kind of deal, and never drink coffee like it says not to do, never drink tea like it says not to do, I'd probably get the results eventually, but I didn't want to do it that way. I wanted it now. I wanted it quick. And that's the thing. You get caught up in the guaranteeing of, getting it immediately with no work, and that's just not how it works. And so you have to be cautious about the quick results. And the other thing you have to be cautious about is when you actually start achieving, when you do achieve the results. It can be almost as dangerous as never getting started when you actually complete it, because you feel just like that. You feel like it's completed, and now you can stop. And with anything that you're trying to, achieve, even when you do accomplish it, there's always more things to do to either maintain what you're trying to, what you accomplish, or to get better at what you accomplish. I can guarantee almost that if you don't do it, even, if you don't maintain it, if you don't work to maintain it or work to get better, it's almost a guarantee you're going to fall off again. Speaking out of experience, losing 60 pounds was an amazing thing. I went and bought shoes one time, showed him my ID for the card that I was using to pay, and he did a double take. He said, "Man, this is not you." I said, "Yeah." He said, "How much weight did you lose?" I told him 60 pounds, and he's like, "Congratulate!" Like, that was an amazing feeling. It was an amazing feeling when people would come up to me, and they wouldn't, they hadn't seen me for years, and they would go, "Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this is the same guy I saw 5 years ago. You've lost so much weight. You look so good." Like, that's an amazing feeling. But I got complacent with it. I got like, I'm good. And I started getting lazy with my workouts. I started getting lazy with my eating. Started getting lazy with how I was, living my health and doing what I was doing. And all of a sudden, the pounds creeped up on me. And what's sad is that now the same people who would see me say, "What happened? Last time I saw you, you were so skinny." And now I'm over here like having to do the work again. And I realize that when I get to where I'm wanting to go, when I lose my 60 pounds again, that's not the end. I can't stop. I can't just say, "All right, I'm good. Cancel my gym membership. Go get me some 19 chocolate cakes because I'm done." No, I have to keep doing it for the rest of my life if I want to maintain it. And the answer to that is only whatever, the only person who has the answer to that is me. If I really want to maintain it, I know I have to do this for the rest of my life. I have to keep working out. I have to keep eating right for the rest of my life, because I know if I stop, I will gain weight again. And so you have to be cautious of that too, of feeling like you've accomplished it, and so it's time to just stop and quit. That's not something that you want to do, because it's even harder sometimes to get back on the horse after you fall off it, because you remember the good feelings and you just feel like, "Oh, I can never do that again. It was just too much work." And the work is the same. You might feel like it's worse now because you're older and, you have more, things in your life that demand your time. But the fact is the work is the same, and you just have to get up and do it. So you want to be cautious of that. And so, today's show is all about that, and understanding that being cautious doesn't mean to being scared. Just because you have these concerns and you have these things that you are, concerned about, and you have red flags about, doesn't mean that you are chickening out. And sometimes you can feel like that because you feel like, "Oh, I'm doubting myself too much. I'm just going to go do it." Well, like I said, go for it. If you go to the gym and you don't stretch and you haven't went to the gym for a year, but you're just going to go do it because you have too many doubts about starting slow, see how your body reacts after trying to run a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. It's okay to be cautious. It's okay to excuse me, to think it through and really think, before I start doing this, I need to be concerned about these things and take care of them. So it's not the same as being scared. Our quote for this week, here's from the quotable Walt Disney. Again, you can find the link in the show notes. It says, "Caution there must be, of course, along with venturesome courage. The motion picture business has long been a chance-taking business. This doesn't mean timidity, there we go, in planning an operation." So what's he saying there? He knows that he has to be concerned. He knows that this is not a guarantee thing. There's always going to be risk when it comes to doing this. He understands the movies is very, very, iffy. But that doesn't make him be scared when it comes to his planning. That doesn't make him quit. That doesn't make him back up and say, well, you know what, I just better not do it at all. Because the results end up being worth it. And he knew that he has to try this at least, even if it's a complete failure. He owes it to himself because he has a passion for it so strong that he has to try. And like I said, when you try, when you get to the goal and you achieve your goal, even if it's not necessarily a success in the way you thought, it's a success because you did complete it after all. And so many people cannot say that they've done the same. And the proverb is very simple. Be strong and courageous. That's from Deuteronomy 31:6. And that's pretty black and white. That's encouraging to you guys. I really hope that you guys can be strong and courageous. And again, I really hope that you've been enjoying these episodes. I hope they've been encouraging. If you are trying to kind of get your ideas flowing and you're struggling maybe with kind of figuring out what it is or how to get to what you're trying to do, and you just need some fresh pair of eyes or somebody to help you with some ideas, feel free to contact me. I have that in the show notes too for the consulting guys. It's like, I don't remember how I have it. Like, I think it's like so much time where it's free. I can, just connect with you on a call real quick and just brainstorm some stuff with you. But I love doing that. It's something that I really have enjoyed being able to help others and just talk to them, give them ideas and help them with whatever they're doing, whether it's YouTube, podcast, whatever it is. So check that out there if you're interested in that. And if not, that's okay. Find somebody around you to get you that encouragement that you need, that inspiration, including this podcast. And if you feel like it's helped you, please share this podcast with other people who you know are wanting to get started with this year and get toward their goals, closer to their goals and their passions. So, but again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Very excited for the future of what's coming to talk about the magic. Please be sure to comment. Let me know what you want to see. And remember that being cautious doesn't mean being scared, all right? It's a big, big thing when you're trying to accomplish your goals. I hope you have a great night, day, weekend, whenever you're listening to this. And as always, stay magical.
This was the Talk About the Magic podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to rate, subscribe, and share with a friend. Thanks for listening, and as always, stay magical.